Single gift giver pulled a keg. That makes sense. What's he got? Mega Rain? Okay. Yeah, I mean we have to negate it. Hey everyone, Raptorspank here, and today we have another ranked replay. After the Bastion buff, I wanted to take my BT Fizz deck out for a spin again. The Fish Boy was always my favorite League champion, and his lore version is such a fun combo piece. So I wanted to take the lessons we learned from IT Lee Sin and use them to revamp the Fizz list. So I'm going to go over what I've changed and take it out for a couple of games and see how it does. Let's start with the cuts from the old list. First, we dropped the 3 copies of Tiari the Traveler. He just ended up dying far too easily and was just too slow at buffing Fizz. Better to have this at burst speed because that can trigger Fizz to counter spells as well as giving the buff, and it also gets Fizz closer to leveling up. And then just in general, we had better units we could turn to than Tiari the Traveler, so we were running a few more other units instead. Then we cut both copies of Messenger Sigil. This is just a bad card, plain and simple. It's just bad. What it does is bad. What it does for a deck, like it's so bad. More messengers means more bad draws from our deck, so that's bad as it is. And we just don't actually need the 1-drop spell to protect Fizz. Well, he's pretty much fine with just the buffs and all the other stuff we have. So this actually didn't end up being necessary or really relevant, and all it can do is just sabotage our own deck. So it's just a bad card. Dropped all copies of it. So then we also dropped the 1 copy of Shards of the Mount. It was a neat combo piece, but never really ended up being the bomb we wanted it to. And in fact, it usually just ended up being really hard to cast without destroying our draw, because we'd have to cast it and then at least cast 1 gem so that we could actually get our draw, because we'd rather have the cards from our own deck than have, another gem in hand. So that ended up being very difficult to use, which made the card a lot worse than we were hoping for. So it's just better to make the rest of the deck consistent, and the slow speed it just meant passing priority before using gems, which wasn't bad if we cast on our opponent's turn, but it made it a bad thing to cast on our own turn, because then our opponent has plenty of opportunities to deal with Fizz, and the gems won't be able to respond to those opportunities. So we'll have to have other things in hand, and then we don't have the mana for the gems. So it wasn't what we wanted the card to be. And then I dropped 1 copy of Blessing of Targon as well. It's still a good card, but I needed to trim something for what else I wanted to put in the deck, and this is it's a very high cost card for kind of low power output, so it's more of a potentially dead card than some of the alternatives. So this is the one that ended up getting the cut, since it's kind of hard to use defensively. It's just purely offensively and leaves you with very little mana left. So what's new? First off, we have 1 copy of Spacey Sketcher. The 1 costs 1/1. Play, discard a card to invoke a Celestial card that costs 3 or less. This is just a great 1-drop that turns bad cards into better cards, hopefully anyways, that we get some good invokes off of it. But what I've learned from both playing Lee Sin, but also from playing Bilgewater Burn actually the most, is that this card, especially if it finds Snake, can be so brutal for the Bilgewater and other aggro deck matchups, because it can buy just enough time that the combo goes off. And against Burn, it's so good because most of their things die to 1 power, so Spacey Sketcher plus Snake can kill 2 things off of 1 card, essentially, for 1 mana. So it's extremely powerful. So basically we just wanted this to buy us a little more time against aggro decks, and 1 copy is really as much as we want to go on this. Then we added a copy of Mentor of the Stones. The 3 cost 1/1, support, grant +2/+2, last breath, create 3 gems in hand. Basically the Lee Sin deck taught us just how amazing this card is, so completing the set was just an obvious thing to do. It's just so good. Just like Lee Sin, this card is a pure win-win in this deck, because Gem is just a great way to turn Fizz on for the turn to get the damage in, since we can only use it before we go to combat, but that's fine because it gives him elusive and now he can swing. And yeah, we won't be able to use it defensively to protect Fizz from spells that would kill him, but we have so many other spells that do that. This is a really cheap, easy way to give him elusive to get him at least swinging in the first place. So the extra copy to complete the playset was just a no-brainer. Then we have 2 copies of Sunblessed Vigor. The 2 cost burst spell, grant an ally +0/+2. This is essentially the replacement for Tiari. It's just better. It offers the same effect that Tiari did, but it also triggers Fizz if we need to counter something, and it also levels up Fizz, or gets us closer to leveling up Fizz, which is great. And we don't have to worry about being able to swing with it. Like, they can't kill Tiari before we get to attack, which is the big problem with Tiari before, is that they could always Mystic Shot it or Death's Hand it, whatever, to kill Tiari before we even get to buff. Whereas Sunblessed Vigor, there's nothing they can do about it. We're going to get to buff our unit, or our Fizz in this case. And we didn't end up needing the 2-2 body with Tiari as often, so this just seemed like an obvious change to make to the deck that's really, really good for what we want. Then we have 2 copies of Hush, the 3-cost burst spell, silence a unit this round, create a fleeting Hush in hand that costs 1 more. Put simply, we unfortunately have to include this as an answer to Lee Sin. Lee Sin is just so powerful and so good that, like, we just have to have this card and have 2 copies of it so we're much more likely to hit it, because that's like one of the decks that can just mess us up, because somehow Lee Sin is just as super fast as he is and just wins the game super quick. So we have to have Hush just as an answer for that. On the bright side, it can also protect Fizz from challengers, so it's not a complete dead card in other matchups, because as long as they play the challenger and we get the opportunity, we get priority before they can pull Fizz, we can always just Hush them instead of trying to buff Fizz outside of the damage range. So that's pretty strong. We can potentially save some games with this card too, if they have a bunch of buffed units or aggro units, or they're swinging with something that we wouldn't otherwise be able to block. We can Hush it. It's just a number of places where we can use this to really benefit us. Then we have 1 more copy of Zenith Blade, the 3-cost slow spell, grant an ally +1/+2, and Overwhelm. Daybreak, draw Zenith Blade. This is another lesson from Lee Sin. It's absolute gas that draws more spells for Fizz to use, potentially, as long as you can cast it first. I didn't really think this spell was going to be quite as good as it is when I first made the deck, so I only included 2 just so the first one could grab something. And I just mostly included it as a way to ensure that even if our opponent is playing some sort of elusives, especially Shadestalker was big at the time, that we would still be able to force the damage through, and that's definitely still relevant. And the +2 health is really, really good. But what's even better is that since it gets another Zenith Blade, we can use this multiple turns in a row to get Fizz's elusive triggered so he can start to swing, while also just making him harder to deal with damage-based removal. So this is just a really, really great card. And since Fizz is so low health to begin with, the benefit of health is something that's actually pretty useful to Fizz. And that's the deck for this episode. You can find the deck code as well as a deck link in the description below if you want to try the deck out yourself. Now let's jump into some ranked matches. Alright, game 1 here, and it looks like we are going to be against some sort of, I'm guessing, casino deck. Haven't seen casino in a long time, but that's what this looks like. Bilgewater PZ is usually that kind of discard aggro. Yeah, I gotta pitch everything. I'll keep the Gift Giver, though. Gift Giver is usually worth keeping. Well, you just have to hope to God this Solari Priestess gets us written in stars, or else we are in trouble. Do we play anything here? I don't think so. I think we'd rather bank the mana than play a second Gift Giver. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely casino. Hey, there we go. That's what we wanted to see.
Let's test my theorem.
Yeah, I mean, we'll block that. Alright, so we have 6 mana next turn. We gotta play him though, right? Yep. See what our opponent does.
Just you and me, Fishbones.
Okay, I don't think he can kill Fizz if we do this, so we're just gonna go for the damage. 6 in the air. Get our clock going.
The teeth means they like you.
Ooh. That's sketchy. What did he... Oh, he discarded this. Duh. Ah, warning shot. Okay, that's great. That's what we wanted to see.
Never lost a fair game. We'll play one.
Does that count as targeting? I don't believe so, right?
All that glitters.
That's fine. We'll play Gift Giver.
A little luck for those who need it.
So we're looking to mentor this turn. Ooh. Okay. So what we have to do then is this obviously changes our plan. Oh wait, no, we want to kill that. Okay, so he shouldn't be able to kill him, right? Because we heal, draw a card, gets to 4, then we pump him with Pale Cascade. He lives. That dies. Unfortunate how that went, but Fizz does live, and that's what really matters. How many spells do we have to cast? Okay, so if I cast these 2 gems, he gets to 9 damage, which still isn't lethal. Play this, he dies to double removal. Okay, this should make him the safest he could possibly be. We do still have a fair amount of health, so that's one good thing. Because we have our opponent dead in 2 turns. What's he got? Yeah, I mean, that's fine, I guess. Honestly, I'm not even sure I was going to swing with him this turn. But I will gem to deal more damage, I guess. We wouldn't have been able to cast this Chum the Waters anyways. So, at that point, because like right now, he has a huge board, so what we're most scared of is dying next turn. Oh, I forgot he had the Daring Poros. That's interesting that he didn't play those. I mean, we have Zenith Blade. So, if I can only block one thing. Ooh, okay, so she leveled up. That's scary. And TF might level up here, too. No, he won't level up here. Okay, so, assuming we block this, we take 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, down to 4. That's scary, but I think that's probably the best for us. Although he is going to draw some cards here. Because the debate is whether we heal him or play Priestess to block. I guess we play Priestess to block, and we save ourselves 5 damage. We'll take Written in Stars, I think.
Come on, Fishbones. I don't wanna.
Trick shot. Nothing lasts forever.
Alright, I think we block like this. Take the least amount of damage. I think we have enough ways to keep Fizz alive, even at 1 health. Starting with, I think we gem here. And TF doesn't level up yet. Yeah, we'll just make that not happen. We want to keep this gem for next turn, if we can. Okay, perfect. Perfect, perfect.
Now it's a party.
Okay, so our best option is just give him flying here. Wait, does he not have Overwhelm? Oh, we didn't Zenith Blade. I forgot about that. Oh, no! Alright, we should be fine, though. Should be fine, though. Now we do. Now we do. We're good. We're good. We're good. We screwed that up, but... Alright, yeah, there we go. There we go. I forgot we didn't Zenith Blade, that we Priestess instead, but... Hey, we got there, and that's what matters. Just a little under our opponent's combo. But barely. Alright. game 2 here, and we are against the other really brutal combo deck of Zed Lee Sin. There's a possibility we can get under this with a good enough curve like that. That is a pretty good curve. What do we keep? What do we get rid of? We pitch the salvage. We definitely want to keep Gift Giver, and obviously we're keeping Fizz. The question is whether we keep this Mentor of the Stones. I think we're going to. Ooh, that is our worst draw. That is without a doubt our worst draw. Alright, we'll play Gift Giver. Next turn we're looking to Fizz plus Gem. And get a little bit of an early hit in.
These gems grant a wearer calm.
I suppose I didn't need to gem there. Maybe I shouldn't have, but we kind of are trying to race our opponent, so the faster we can kill our opponent, the better. Now let's see what he has. Zed. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Not yet. We can block with Gift Giver.
Protector, shield me.
Okay, so I think we're looking to Bastion Fizz next turn. Although he still kind of gets screwed up by yeah, so I guess we just pocket aces. I hope our opponent does not have the Hush. Well, he does.
Not disappoint me.
At least we killed the Zed. But we are obviously not in great shape now.
We each hold a world within.
I was tempted to play Bastion, but Bastion wouldn't have saved us from Hush, so we were just at the mercy of whether they had the Hush or not. At least we have double salvage to try and draw towards our combo now. And our opponent apparently is missing their combo pieces because they went for a Daybreak or a Solari Priestess, so they're looking for their... Wow, that's rough. Alright, well, we know that this Zenith Blade will never get us the... it will never get us another Zenith Blade. Okay, so they needed their combo piece, so they went for Written in Stars. Let's see if he attacks. He doesn't. Alright. That's fine. Can we find another Fizz? Not yet.
These jewels are more than mere trinkets.
My faith protects me.
Alright, I mean, I'm not really worried about that. I'm assuming Lee Sin here. Oh, okay, it's another Zed. It's a scarier Zed. We don't really want Mentor to die here, so... Ooh, that's scary. We have these guiding touches to... Ooh. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. We don't want Mentor to die because we don't want to fill our hand.
You spurn my gift.
What do we want to do? I guess we Pale Cascade to draw a card. That was not the card we wanted. Alright, well, we dealt with the Zed. We did take a huge chunk from that, from his clone, though. I guess we just Guiding Touch to draw another card. Oh, there he is. Do we play him? Yeah, I mean, I guess we play him. We have a couple of different ways to protect him. The question is how many Hushes are Lee Sin decks running these days. Okay, there's the Lee Sin. Is there any way we kill our opponent this turn? That's the real question. Nah, that won't work. I could play her for 3 mana. Maybe hit Written in Stars, which costs another 4. Drops us to 3 mana, which is enough to play Playful Trickster, but at that point our Fizz isn't doing enough damage to actually be lethal. Almost certainly we're going to gem. So if we gem, we go to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
You're boring.
Still not lethal. Alright.
Celestial power.
And this way we can always chum the waters. Oh, he has another hush. Okay, the game's over. Yeah, I mean, I can't save him from that, right? Yeah. Alright, game's probably over. Answer to our question, they run at least 2 hushes. I mean, same with us, so...
I'll see this through.
Is that leveling up Lee Sin? Or is he just trying to get the Dragon Link? I mean, I guess you go for the Dragon Ling there regardless, so... Let's see if we get to play this Solari Priestess. Okay. Heal.
I will not hold back.
He's also worried about the second hush.
Our enemies cannot.
Okay. Heal. That's gonna level up Lee Sin, right? Yeah. He doesn't have Zenith Blade, so...
I fight with the dragon's fury. Prepare yourself.
That is a potentially lethal amount of damage, though. Yeah, and he got there. Unfortunate for us, he had the two hushes, and we only had the one. That's basically how that combo deck's gonna go. We almost had him though, so we would have won if he didn't have hush. Literally, he had to have hush, or we win the game because we bashed in the Dragon's Rage, and then we're perfectly fine. So our opponent got lucky, but that happens. That's the nature of the game. All right, game 3 here, and it looks like we're against the pretty traditional TF Swain Bilgewater Noxus deck. So they're going to have plenty of removal, but Fizz should be able to stop most of that removal. So the biggest thing we're scared of is stuns. We're going to pitch all 3 of these, and we're going to keep the Priestess in case we can't find Fizz. Can they kill Fizz on turn 1? I don't think their deck actually can. Yeah. Since we have Guiding Touch to protect him next turn.
This is gonna be fun.
The key here is we have to keep protection for him up, so we can't play Gift Giver next turn, even if our opponent just passes. Ooh. That is great. That's way better than Guiding Touch if he tries to go Death's Hand here.
Nothing left when I'm done.
Alright. Now we can play Gift Giver.
These jewels are more than mere trinkets.
This'll send them running.
Yeah, we're fine with that. So what we're going to do here is we are going to Gem and swing with Fizz. That's it. Oh, and swing with Gift Giver, pull the keg. That makes sense. What's he got? Make it rain? Okay. Yeah, I mean we have to negate it. Now if he has a follow-up one, Fizz will still live. Sunblessed Figure was such a lucky find, I'm gonna be honest. Eh. Hush will be good against the Swain. If he finds it, so.
Never lost a fair game. We'll play
Okay. Interesting. I kind of would have expected a red card there. That must mean he doesn't have great answers to Fizz, and he's just trying to find them. We'll play this Priestess now. See what we can find. Decisions. I guess we'll take Golden Sisters because I could buy us time and force damage through. Okay, well I guess we'll just bash and Fizz and swing for 4 in the air. We're in reasonably decent shape right now.
Who's angry for
Oh! Interesting. Didn't expect to jack the winner from their deck. Alright, so this must be a little more like Bilgewater Burn meets Swain TF. Yeah, I mean, we can't do anything about that, so... what do we do here? Do we play Priestess, or do we play Golden Sisters? I think we play Golden Sisters. See, Priestess will give us more room to protect Fizz, but if we play Golden Sisters, we still have Vigor or Guiding Touch to protect Fizz, so... I think this is probably our better play. Because it gives us more damage in the air next turn. Gives us lethal damage in the air next turn, actually. TF level up is a scary thing here. If our opponent can pull that off. Okay. Doesn't look like he can. Okay. Alright, so I guess we just... Blessing of Targon here. Gets Fizz in the air. And then we will pull this keg, because why wouldn't we? Alright, I think we have it. Yep, and there's the game. There we go. That was pretty dominant. So I guess Fizz is a great answer to TF Swain. So our opponent didn't really have many things they could have done there. They were just kind of out of luck. But hey, good for us. So how did Fizz do on the review, essentially? The replay of it. So the truth is, the deck is a fair bit better now. For a number of reasons. One, the Bastion buff is really, really good for Fizz, because buffing Fizz while also giving him Spell Shield is actually insane. We were already running Bastion before, and now it's even better. The deck itself is a little bit better, because we've taken what we've learned from the Lee Sin deck that emerged between when we did Stiff Brew Fizz and this video. So we're up to the 3 mentors. We've got a copy of Spacey Sketcher in there. Just in general, the list is a little bit tighter, a little bit stronger, essentially. And we're running 2 Hushes instead of 1, which I think is just that not necessarily the best, not necessarily an improvement for the deck. It's just, yeah, Lee Sin is such a problem that we have to run 2 copies of Hush instead of 1. As we saw, if we could have found the second Hush, we would have been fine in game 2, but we couldn't find it. Yeah, so the Fizz deck is better. The problem is, lots of people are playing Hush, so we went 2-1 in the games here, messing around with the deck. I went, I think, 0-2 before it, so that would put us at like 2-3 on this patch. That's in ranked, I think. I played a few normals, too, between this account and my other account, but I don't remember the total between both of them, but the deck definitely feels like it struggles a bit, because it seems like the Lee Sin deck is just better. And because the Lee Sin deck, anytime we run into Targon, they're almost certainly going to have Hush. And Hush is good against the Lee Sin deck. Hush absolutely destroys our deck. They're like, our deck is just done if they can Hush our Fizz. Like, and you saw we were even able to rebuild after the first Hush, but then the second Hush blew us out. It's just... yeah, it's just really, really bad for us. Hush is super bad. So while Bastion's buff is good for us, and the list is a little bit tighter this time around, the huge reliance on Hush makes it kind of a bad time to try and play Fizz. Even though the deck is still fun, it still works, and it's even better now with Spell Shield, but every time we could have done Bastion, he would have been hushed twice, or they could have hushed twice, so it wouldn't have mattered. Because we did have that one turn going into the first Hush where we're like, well, we could Bastion, but it's like, well, he has 7 mana though, so he can Hush once and then Hush twice. So it wouldn't have mattered. So Bastion doesn't really get us out of the problems the deck was already facing. What I do find more interesting, it's worth noting that the 2 losses I had before, I believe both of them were to Lee Sin. They were both to... oh, no, it was Lee Sin, and then it was Targon Support. Both decks running Hush, and both decks casting Hush on Fizz at one point. So, against Targon, we're pretty doomed, no matter what we do. But what I did find funny was that we played against some otherwise I mean, Casino's not a deck, but like TF Swain is a really, really good deck. It's a really strong deck, and it might be worse now into the Lee Sin meta, but we didn't have any trouble whatsoever in that match, and I think that wasn't just luck. I think that's just how that matchup goes. So there are some really interesting decks where we're really favored or really good into it. So it's still definitely a fun deck to play, and I do love playing my Fizz decks. He's just a really, really fun champion to play. He gives you way more options than you have with other ones, but the problem being that his key mechanic of countering spells that target him once you cast something, it doesn't do anything against Hush, because Hush happens at burst speed, so we can't actually counter it. So unfortunately with Call of the Mountain, while we did get all these great Fizz cards with Written in Stars, etc., Mentor of the Stones, Gift Giver, all of the great Targon cards we're using, it also printed Hush, which kills Fizz. So maybe if Lee Sin gets nerfed and falls out of the meta, then Fizz will be in a good position to be a great deck. But right now, while Hush is so prevalent, it's a pretty rough deck to play if you want to win, but a pretty fun deck to play if you just really love the Fizz combo. It's still one of my favorite decks to play. It just feels so good when you can just get these crazy combo wins out of nowhere. So either way, it's a fun deck. It was cool to revisit again, see how we're doing with the new Bastion, and change the list around a little bit because, like I said, the list before was a little bit weak with a number of like 2-ofs that should have been 3-ofs, and having the third mentor is really great. So cool to get an opportunity to look back at it and tighten up what needed to be tightened up. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe for more videos just like it.